Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Chanley Painter. There are explosive new updates in the case of Lori Vallow-Daybell this week. Now, the latest is a phone recording the Arizona police they've just released from the ex-wife of Lori Daybell's brother, Alex Cox. She's identified only as Debbie. And what she told detectives about Lori and Alex is nothing short of bizarre. Here, she is describing what she calls an inappropriate relationship between the siblings.
There was a lot of inappropriate sexual touching and things going on in the family, particularly between him and his sister.
So between Alex and Lori?
And Lori.
Okay. You kind of got me at a loss on this one. What do you consider inappropriate sexual touching?
Like, they were simulating sex acts, and which is not normal to me for a brother and a sister. For example, he would pick her up and she'd wrap her legs around his waist, and he would kind of bounce her up and down on himself.
Okay.
In front of me, and they would moan and simulate sex acts. And I have brothers, and I would never act like that with one of my brothers.
Okay.
And his mom and dad talked about their sex life in front of us constantly, and it just kind of seemed to be a game for them.
Oh,
to
the
talk
mom and
about
dad didn't really object to it then, huh?
No, not at all. All of this was going on in the family, in front of everybody. They had no shame.
Now, it's important to note that this phone recording was made in September of 2019, just a couple of months after Alex Cox was shot and killed by Lori's fourth husband, Charles Vallow, or he shot and killed Lori's fourth husband, Charles Vallow. So Debbie was suspicious because Alex had made threats against Lori's third husband, Joseph Ryan, under eerily similar circumstances. Let's watch.
So I was married to Alex many years ago, and our marriage ended within a year, but we stayed in very close contact for several years. And I spoke to Alex last, right after he had served time in jail for the assault on Joseph Ryan. And when he was telling me about it, now Alex, I'm sure you know from your investigation, was a comedian, and he was always joking about things in a funny way or trying to be funny. And he did tell me he was still really, really mad at Joseph Ryan because of things with his sister Lori.
Okay.
Custody issues. And he had told me that Joseph Ryan had possibly sexually abused the kids, Colby, as well as Tylee. But when I would ask Alex a lot of questions about it and try to dig deeper, then it would turn into, well, we're just trying to get custody. And he would flip-flop around quite a bit on whether or not that abuse had actually taken place, whether they had any proof it had taken place, or if they were just playing games to try to help his sister get custody. Mm-hmm. But in that conversation, he told me that he wanted to bait Joseph Ryan into a fight so that he could kill him. And if I had really at that time thought he was serious, because he said it in a joking way, but it was still creepy and weird. Weird enough that I never spoke to Alex again. That was the last time I ever talked to him. I just thought, okay, jail has not been kind to him. He's off his rocker. I really don't want to have this guy in my life anymore.
So just to clarify, that call was made to detectives in September 2020. That would have been over a year after Alex shot and killed Charles Vallow, and Alex passed away. Remember, Alex passed away in December of 2019 from what authorities have deemed natural causes. But since then, Lori has been charged with the murders of her two children, Tylee and JJ. But her case has been on hold since June, when she was committed to the Department of Health and Welfare in Idaho after a mental health professional said she was not competent to assist in her defense or stand trial. And on Wednesday, her attorney, Mark Means, one of her attorneys, lodged shocking and troubling allegations of a possible conspiracy between the prosecution in the case, the Church of Latter-day Saints, and the state doctor treating Lori's mental issues. The motion states in part that Lori was manipulated by her treating clinician to call the LDS Church legal counsel and disclose privileged details of her case, including Brady disclosures, and that the LDS attorney Daniel McConkey then called and exposed the conversation to the prosecutor in the case, Rob Wood. Now, when we reached out to the prosecutor, his representative gave us this statement. It says the state will continue to focus on pursuing justice on behalf of the victims. We will address the unfounded claims by one of Mrs. Daybell's defense attorneys in the court of law, not in the media. Filings of this nature are traditionally sealed and handled in confidential proceedings. Litigating such matters publicly can compromise both parties' right to a fair trial and compromise various individuals' right to privacy. The mental health issues and investigations are not suited for the court of public opinion.